PHI 102, Study Session 7, Definitions and Disputes. Introduction. Definition is a crucial feature of human expression and communication because it is the means by which we make clear our intentions, ideas, and the point of view which we try to express to others. The term definition may be regarded as any brief or precise statement that describes what a word means or what an expression means. In another light, definition is considered as that which entails the act of describing or stating something clearly, lucidly, or ambiguously. In this study session, we shall examine the relation between disputes and definitions. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to explain the following concepts, such as definition, disputes, and understanding. You should also discuss the three major categories of disputes. Defining definition. We cannot overemphasize the fact that definition aids human understanding. Let us explain this with an example. If I make the following statement, that Mr. Olawale is a wise old bird, I may need to define what I mean by the word bird. Is it that I am describing Mr. Olawale as a winged flying animal with feathers, or I mean something else? Or do I mean to say that Mr. Olawale is a particular kind of person? In order to be able to determine what I'm saying, I may need to define the sense of the word bird that I mean. This goes to show that definition is the pivot of human understanding. In philosophical circles, the issue of definition is taken very seriously. In fact, it is popularly believed that most philosophical analysis and deliberations begin with the definition of terms. Philosophical concepts, ideas, and ideologies are effectively communicated through the medium of definition. From one philosophical tradition to another, definitions have been used to explain one philosophical position or the other, and many disputes have evolved from such definitions. Sometimes, the disagreements may lead to the abandonment of one philosophical position or the other, while in some other cases, it may further strengthen the definition which was originally the basis for the disagreement. In a sense, the issue of definitions are inextricably tied with the notion of disputes. In this study session, we shall essentially focus on the issue of disputes and how it is related to the issue of definitions. Disputes are often likened to controversy. Controversy is a state of prolonged public dispute or debate, usually concerning a matter of conflicting opinions or points of view. When people genuinely disagree, whether about beliefs or attitudes, language is the instrument with which that disagreement is normally expressed. But there are some other disputes which we can call merely verbal. They arise only as a result of some linguistic misunderstanding, often because of disputants differ in their uses of words. Oftentimes, good definitions are needed to resolve disputes. We shall distinguish three categories of disputes, namely, obvious genuine disputes, merely verbal disputes, and apparently verbal but really genuine disputes. Copy et al., 2006. Categories of disputes. Obvious genuine disputes. This is a type of dispute in which the parties involved unambiguously disagree, either in belief or attitude. For instance, if person A's favorite football team is Manchester United, and person B's favorite football team is Chelsea Football Club, nothing is likely to resolve their disagreement. This implies that the two individuals, that is A and B, hold two sets of beliefs that are genuinely dissimilar, and as such, it might be difficult trying to bridge the divide between them. Merely verbal dispute. This is the category of disputes in which the apparent differences between two or more individuals are not genuine. It refers to conflicts that can be resolved simply by coming to agreement on how some word or phrase is to be used. If, for instance, Tolani and Jude are having a controversy on the nature of philosophy as an inquiry that involves critical analysis, and Jude claims that it is critical analysis that makes philosophy a negative discipline, while Tolani asserts that critical analysis does not make philosophy a negative discipline, then we can assert that they are having a kind of dispute known as merely verbal dispute. The merely verbal dispute they are having is on critical analysis. This presupposes that the dispute between the two is due to the misuse of language by one or both of the disputants. Apparently verbal, but really genuine dispute. This type of dispute refers to misunderstandings about the uses of terms which may be involved in controversies. However, when those misunderstandings are cleared up, it often turns out that there remains a disagreement that goes well beyond the uses of words. At times, resolving the ambiguities of terms in such circumstances may help to clarify what is at issue, but will not settle a dispute that really concerns more than language. Let us illustrate it with an example. Suppose person A describes the female university undergraduate students as prostitutes just because they wear skimpy clothes, and person B disputes this because for person B, female university undergraduate students are not prostitutes, but are only being trendy and fashionable in line with the prevalent times. At first glance, this dispute between person A and B may seem as an apparently verbal dispute, but upon closer look, one will see that the disagreement is based on what the individuals genuinely believe to be the appropriate criteria for describing female undergraduate students. This explains why this form of dispute is also known as criterial disputes. Disputes of this kind are called criterial disputes because there is an underlying disagreement about the criteria for the application of some key term of approval or disapproval, and regarding the wisdom or the correctness of the alternative criteria they have in mind. Their conflict is genuine. Study session summary. In this study session, we explore the term dispute and its relation to definition. We pointed out that the term definition may be regarded as any brief or precise statement that describes what a word means or what an expression means. Disputes, on the other hand, are often likened to controversy. We also distinguished three categories of disputes, namely obvious genuine disputes, merely verbal disputes, and apparently verbal but really genuine disputes. The first is a type of dispute in which the parties involved unambiguously disagree, either in belief or attitude. The second is the category of disputes in which the apparent differences between two or more individuals are not genuine. It refers to conflicts that can be resolved simply by coming to agreement on how some word or phrase is to be used. The third category of dispute refers to misunderstandings about the uses of terms which may be involved in controversies. End of study session 7. Thank you for listening.